how the heart can break and break again, how it can reconstitute itself into a smaller heart, break and once again reconstitute, eternally like a hall of mirrors, and we are lost in its reflections. Which one are we? I stood in that hall of mirrors, that hallway of mirrors, though I did not care to explore it. Inside the mirror I was there and not there. It was the same young man from before. His eyes were black. I could see him moving his mouth, my mouth, but he had no voice, no sight, like the rabbit, and perhaps he could not hear either. Then the mirrors began to break. The light began to fade until... How the heart breaks and breaks again. I felt all my own heart break pure this time, and the fracturing felt visceral, architectural. It created pointed edges and hollow floors, and I fell into myself, into all selves. I understood what Dracunin does for a moment, how he merely fits himself in the absence, the ruin, the brokenness. Dracunin, I remembered him. Harry, Simon, and Brea. This was good. I started to see myself corporally again. My hand... Back in the circular room. Was I getting anywhere? Breathe out. This place was much like a dream. Perhaps I was doing well with my powers. I missed the voices. Yes, I remember the voices. Though as I remember everyone, they seem distant, long gone, like a life lived. This place inhabits a place not unlike death. There are no guarantees that I will get back. Agatha, the first time I think of her. So, this room must be the bridge, and yet, a nothingness. I can remember them. I can remember what I'm trying to do. What am I trying to do? Another door. The child, different than the boy, was at the center of a room. His gravitational pull was intense. No, the center cannot hold. The image blurred and then collapsed on itself. There is no seeing here. I was in a desert. A buzzer flew overhead.
You! Turn slowly. Hands up.
English spoken. Oh, I can feel the heat now. I was hyperventilating. I turned. No problem.
What manner of indigent are you? Where's your horse?
I did not have a horse. I walked here, I think.
What do you call that accent? You from Italy?
No, I'm from Boston. The man looked like he thought I was mocking him. I mean, I was there last. I am from a long way, a small country, I suppose not far from Italy in terms of... I realized my throat was very parched.
You just came out of nowhere, is all. Here.
He threw me his canteen. I gratefully drank from it. Thank you. I am... Ned.
I come looking for someone out here. Have you seen anyone lately?
No, I can't say I have. I was, with a company, but far from here, and I must have... I did stray on purpose. A lover's quarrel, you see, and... The cowboy didn't seem all that concerned with what I had to say. He was looking around. His horse seemed to like me. It was a brindle and made eyes at me. I surprised myself by coming closer and laying my hand towards it.
Well, I'm going back towards Leroy, nearest town. About half a day's ride. You need me to relay some message when I'm there?
No. Which way?
West. Well, good day, Ned.
I watched him ride away. Then I started walking in the direction he went. I had the same chemise I wore in the Amazon. I unbuttoned and let myself breathe a little. My boots, my green boots, were well scuffed and dusty. The countryside was rocks, and I noticed a horseman coming back my way in a bit of a gallop. It stopped and then kept cantering or whatever towards me. It was the cowboy.
Got to thinking, not very Christian of me. And Beatrice seemed to like you. I can give you a ride if you like. Else you'll have a hard time getting back to civilization, except in some rough shape. And these parts may be more foreboding lately, after dark. So I've been hearing. So?
I got on the horse with a little bit of awkward difficulty, but finally I settled behind the man. He still had not introduced himself, but I got that maybe that was not the thing here. We did not speak the entire ride. He smelled like the past. I had not ever been in the States during this time period, so much of it looked like what I recognized from John Huston movies. Leroy was small but not insignificant. There were few enough people that everyone exchanged a look with us as we rode in. It reminded me of where I came from. Their eyes held weight, even the children. There was safety and visibility in a way. They were right not to trust a new pattern in their fabric, or at least they gave it just the amount of prejudice they thought they needed to keep the weave, to keep the weft and warp. I disembarked a little more gracefully and thanked the cowboy. He gave me a nod. I let Beatrice smell my hand. The stairs to the saloon creaked. Some more horses cantered by. The air smelled of dry grass, of wet mud, clay, and my mouth still tasted the aluminum tin of the canteen. I lounged anxiously into the saloon. It was dark and it was hard to see. My vampiric ability felt underused. Still, I leaned into the shadow and found my way to the edge of the bar. My eyes sculpted the balustrade shape. The thinly flamed ornamental glass lantern divided the line of a long red oriental carpet that had distinctive stains, not unlike blood on them. The bar was sensually polished with a rounded lip. Behind it, the mirror was stained like gunmetal. The bottles, half empty, green, brown, foggy white, persuaded me this was not a film set. And I was not an actor. With no one seemingly around, I allowed myself to wander a little. On the wall, the daguerreotype of a woman, handsome, blue-white dress, unfamiliar but striking. Would this give me a clue of the date? And yet a more modern photograph was next to it, a town hall raising. I passed around a column to enter the main room, one set about with numerous tables. Playing cards were haphazardly scattered around the room. I noticed a single tarot card on one of the tables. It was the Fool, dangling a foot off a cliff. Again, something in me reminded myself to remember. It took effort, but I remembered him. Harry. I struggled to think of who else. It almost gave me a headache. But who was Harry? Yes, someone I knew, but who was he to me? Agatha. Harry has to do with Agatha. That settled me a bit. I knew she was my sister. I'm here to find Agatha. I went back to the image of the woman in the bar side of the saloon. No, this wasn't Agatha.
Good evening. How may I help you? You looking for a room?
The mustachioed gentleman was almost aristocratically dressed for this town. He held what looked like a sprig of rosemary. He was tall even for modern times. I reached reflexively for my pockets, which is when I noticed that it had a bulge. I removed a fold of numerous bills. They were of this time somehow. I suppose a room, yes. Perhaps, something like a tonic?
Tonic? Something strong? Restorative?
Yes, perhaps not too strong. That sounds good.
I've just the thing. Have a seat. I'll bring you to your room right after.
The barman muddled a few leaves of rosemary into a pestle and then got a lime out, split it and added the juice to a glass. From a cabinet he removed a tiny bottle and dropper, and finally a larger bottle, what smelled of sarsaparilla. He mixed it all together, ran it through a sieve of sorts, and mixed it with a long metal spoon.
I don't drink neither. I can tell one sober gent to another. If I may say, sir, you look comfortable in this gloom. It suits you. I stay mostly inside these days. We close at regulated hours, and once all our guests are within, I take my mare out for a ride at night. If you're visiting for a while, I'd be happy to take you for a tour as well.
The drink was perfectly pleasant, and its brightness accented the experience of being in this western town. It tasted of optimism huddled deep beneath the earth, like a diamond in the rough. For a moment, I flashed to being in a plane, then in a flood.
I see now.
Yes, perhaps tonight.
Certainly. I'll knock when we're closing. The room is actually the first on the right up the stairs. There's a key. $2 up front. Breakfast is included.
As soon as I hit my head to the pillow, I felt myself fall through, once again in the room with the boy with the black eyes. Then, against that pillow, also through, and then I was laying in the circular room, lit by nothing, it would seem. By imagination, I raised myself up.
Hello?
I shouted. The first time that I had made noise in this room, it echoed strangely.
Hello?
The boy. He wore that robe from before.
You're here.
I am? Where are you?
In this place, too many to count. It takes a long time to keep count, but I think you have to have a chance. To get out, that is. Time is changeable here.
A door appeared and opened.
That's for me. I'd stay, but it's best I keep moving. The wolf likes to come when you get too comfortable with someone. Just a tip.
Wait, where is...
But he had waved and entered and closed the door. The door vanished. Still I went to it. I hit my hand against the wall. I awoke.
That allows for an exit here.
Sir, happy to take you on that trail ride when you please. I'll be downstairs.
His mare was black as night. One of its eyes, at least, clouded over with age. Although it looked fit and rearing to go, he presented me to my steed, a small, frightened-looking motley pony. It calmed itself a little as I was helped onto its back. "I shall call you Agatha," I whispered in its ear. We took a path out of town away from its entrance through a small ravine hidden by some brush. It was only thinly illuminated by lanterns that clunked on the side of both our saddles.
Breakneck Ravine! You can imagine why. Had a gold rush not a year back, but all's fool's gold, it turns out.
The fool, I thought. What was the alchemy of this place? I felt myself, but not myself. I had a sense of being half in the other place, the blank room. If only I could shake myself awake, but everything was too mesmerizingly real. I craved what it promised. We came out the thin ravine upon a desert landscape. I looked behind me at the high cliff top. The gap in the ravine almost seemed to disappear as I looked back after we'd ridden a little while.
On my blankets I was lying, too tired to lift my head. The long hot day was dying, and I wished that I was dead. From the west the gold was driven. I watched the death of day, and the distant stars of heaven seemed to draw my heart away. You know who wrote that?
I shook my head. I did not.
Henry Lawson, Australian poet. I actually met him. You would have thought it was an American describing these very parts, don't you think?
I looked up at the stars. Had they changed in all my years on the earth? If we were indeed on this earth? I suppose not much if I'm clear on the concept. I couldn't remember the last time I'd stargazed, but in the moment, I was grateful that I had accepted the man's offer. What was more real, the pain in my heart, as described in his poem, I suppose, or this light, the effect of the universe? I wondered if there was a civilization that accounted that each numbered a god, and that we are too overwhelmed to perceive how little we are in control. I was sounding like an astrologer. We came to a semicircle of slanted rock. A wind skipped us by, frightening my pony a little. How did I know how to ride a horse? I patted Agatha on her side. She calmed a little. A fire had been made previously amidst the cover of these slanted rocks. The man kicked over some burnt wood and laid down new kindling and paper and started making a new fire. I held on to the reins of my pony until he took them quite roughly from me, leading both horses to the other side of the rock, where he mysteriously tied them on something. Something in his aspect shifted. There were two logs and he sat on one and I sat on another. It occurred to me a little bit more sharply how large of a man he was, not unlike Harry's height and perceptibly strong, though his barkeep's almost posh get-up had given him a gentlemanly presence. In his riding clothes, something sinister lived in his profile as I glanced at him, his eyes fixed on the crackling fire.
Oh, forgot to tie the horse properly.
He said and got up. I had only a moment to react, as behind me he had strung a belt and had begun to strangle me, pulling me up by my feet. Reflexively, I tried to feel my fangs grow, but for the first time, I felt that I was fangless. I heard the horses whinny with fright. I managed to force ourselves back and land on him, he on his back, me kicking. His strength was undeniable. Finally, he released a bit, but that is when I heard... How could I not have seen? Unless in this place I'm not a vampire myself. He dug his fangs so sharply I snapped immediately. The eye appeared. So it exists to all of us. I felt for my neck. Intact. The white room buzzed almost, all like a dream. Only impossibly real. And this was like a dream as well. I wanted to talk to the boy again. What had he said? I needed to keep count. So, what was I to learn from his experience? At the moment of realization, the white room began to lose its shape. It became like a canvas that myself could project upon. I lost sense of being separate from the space. It was then that I realized that in that place where I had been bit, I had been human, gloriously human, and vulnerable. What could that mean? In the briefest moment, the room resumed its circular shape. No doors appeared. I sat at the center of the room, looked at my hands. I felt for my fangs. Yes, they were still there, in this place at least. Being and not being, self and not self. I felt something behind me. It was a rabbit, white, with clouded eyes. I remembered the man, the vampire's horse. I got up, the rabbit heard me. It skittered towards the wall, and then a little tiny door opened, and in it went, and the door closed, perplexing. So I sat in perplexment. Perhaps not a word, but it felt appropriate for this place. Then I lay down in perplexment, and when I closed my eyes, I could see the starry western sky that had been there before, so innocently, such a bystander to so much wonder and horror below it. And with complete renunciation of myself, I sought to forgive one such as myself, despite every reason not to do so.